culture. I cut my way out podcast. Tune us in. We on the grind like I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. I used to dream as a kid on the porch of the crib and make it big and one day endorse where I live.
And welcome back to another episode of the I Cut My Way Out podcast. I am at Kenneth Jinks on Instagram, at Ken Jinks. No, I'm at Kenneth Jinks 1 on Instagram, at Ken Jinks on Facebook, at Kenneth Jinks on Twitter. And I am joined by my brother, friend, gracious host, and the brains and the Iron Man behind this podcast. Go ahead and tell them who you are and give them your addies.
What's happening? Yes, we're back again. Ausharra, husband, father, barber, friend, entrepreneur, all of that. So you can catch me at Facebook, Ausharra, on Instagram. I've changed my Instagram as far as the beard culture is concerned. So that is beard_culture_4 on Instagram. My barber page is _Knox the barber, THA 4, right? And then of course our joint Instagram as podcast teammates and brothers is at I Cut My Way Out _pod. So you can reach us anywhere you need to reach us, pretty much.
And I must give it up to you. I mean, I go down the page and you be trying to like share like stuff and comment on stuff, and you be on it, man. So I just got to give it up. Like, we are active on our personal pages as well as our group podcast page. I'm the Twitter guy, so I'm trying to get the Twitter moving a little bit. So
I got to get my Twitter game up.
Yeah, I'm looking for y'all on Twitter. Barbers, tag your Twitters. It's at I Cut My Way Out pod. Let me make sure, because
I Cut My Way Out _pod.
That's what the Twitter is.
No, I don't. I'm not sure about the Twitter.
Okay, yeah. I Cut My Way Out. That's the Twitter. Okay. I might change that to I Cut My Way Out podcast, but you can put I Cut My Way Out. But that's our Twitter. I mean, I'm looking for all the barbers, all the people that's on IG. If you're on Twitter, I like Twitter because instead of the image, we can go back and forth, almost like comments. But that's our Twitter.
Well, you're gonna have to put me up on game with our Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. And so but yeah, so everything been good with you? I mean,
man, everything has been good, man. So amazing week. Finally got my paperwork back with the trademark.
Talk about
with the beard culture. For those that don't know, of course, have an apparel company, beard culture, apparel and products. And so that's been rocking. It was created in 2018. And so been on all the legal paperwork, but man, it's a process. And finally, through the process, got the paperwork back. Everything is 100. It's legit, ready to rock and roll. So put my ideas together and I'm ready to go full throttle with that. So yeah.
Well, yeah, most certainly. Congratulations with that. And, a lot of the support, a lot of the brothers and sisters that have supported you since you started, it was just good to go down memory lane and just see all the people that have supported you and bought some, apparel, and just them posting their pics. I think it was just a celebration for everybody that's rocking with you.
Absolutely.
And we ain't gonna say no name, even people that I have thought maybe, was hating, even
Right.
had some support. So sometimes when you can't stop something, you can't stop
Right.
something. I
Right.
always say, Cardi B, that record, that record that popped, and I always lose my damn memory, but what's the record that popped that you
What?
just can't stop?
What? The WAP?
No,
No,
before
not that.
that.
Oh, okay.
Uh
I don't know. I don't follow it too
basically
tough
basically my point
musically.
is
Hmm.
sometimes you can hate on the person, you can question them, but when it pop, it go, and ain't
Right.
nothing you can do. And
Right.
so I'm saying that to say when you create something organically, you promote it organically, you got great people that support it. When everything when everything is in place,
All right.
you can't, even the
Right.
haters got to give it up. So that
Yeah.
was my
Yeah.
point. And
I appreciate it. And
yeah,
when it's meant to be and it's God's work, man, can't nobody stand in the way of it.
yeah. So
And that's pretty much it, man. So I've just been thankful of all the people that have supported. You know what I mean? It drives me, but also those who don't support it drives me as well, because I'm gonna keep pushing. And I'm just at the stage and the space of my life, man, where I want to create um, legacy for my people, my family, and man, just make it pop. Hopefully, this idea. Um, lends itself to another and keep going. I want to get to the point where I want to build myself up and just want to be what they call a serial entrepreneur these days, man. Um, I've done it other people's way for a number of years, man. So now just in my own lane and playing by my own rules, man. And that's just mentally where I'm at, man.
absolutely, man. And just as somebody that's been around, and we've been rocking for many years. I've seen your evolution, and I'm proud of you. And it was great to
I
see.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So everything. I mean, we're in Illinois, so I mean, we ain't Texas. We kind of used to
Right.
temperatures dipping, but you survived the snow we got and the cold temps
Right.
we endured.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's going on down there. I mean, I don't know if this is in good taste, but Texas, Florida. I mean, Texas. This is for y'all. I mean, it's January. It's the heart of winter for us Midwesterners, and y'all always love to put a screenshot of what the temperature is in Texas in February. You couldn't do that this past week, but
Right. But it's
listen.
gonna bounce. It's gonna bounce right back
Yeah,
for
it is. It's like the
them.
stock
Yeah.
market. It
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s in Texas, you know, are consistent. So it's just, hey, they going through it, man. So
Right.
maybe
Right.
that wasn't
Right.
a good
Right.
joke, but they
Right. And
going
just
through it.
right. Prayers to everybody that's going through it, and just wish them well.
Yeah.
On
So
top of all this, COVID stuff, and just a lot going on, man.
yeah. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself. I had to get a new computer, got a MacBook, so testing that out for the episode.
Okay.
It's it, Macs aren't cheap, but
Right. No doubt.
when you finally get the purchase and crack it open and the
Hmm.
packaging and just get the plan when you're upgrading from a 2011 version,
Right.
it's fun. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and also, we're learning at this stage in our life. It's the difference between just a purchase and an investment. You
Right.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and that's what it is. So, you
Yeah.
know,
So shout out to my lovely wife. She pushed me to not just, she pushed me to get a quality one that hopefully
yeah.
will last as long
All
as
right.
my previous one did. And we're recording this on a Sunday, February the 21st.
First,
And I'm on cloud nine because my favorite college basketball team won a huge game on the road today.
yeah.
Number 3, Michigan Wolverines went to Ohio State and beat number 5, Ohio State,
Okay.
by about 5 on the road. So,
Yeah, I'm extremely happy for Juwan and
oh
the
yeah.
things that they're doing. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a good day, and now I'm podding, and let's get into it.
Absolutely.
I Cut My Way Out podcast everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. We gave you our socials earlier, but as far as where you can reach the show, we're on YouTube, and thank you. Our subscription list is growing. Well, we was talking about getting to 100. Now we had like 117. So thank you to everybody that keeps subscribing. We actually were able to change the URL. So the URL is youtube.com/I Cut My Way Out podcast. So
Well, that's what's up.
yep. So we're definitely Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart. So we're everywhere where you can listen to
Right.
podcasts.
So the list goes on and on.
Yep.
Right.
So
right.
if there's an outlet that you listen to your podcast, you want us to get on,
right.
let me know. Hit us on one of the socials, or go to the page. We have a flow chart. We have a
Shout out to our
page.
boy Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian Ridley. Yep. Place us with a flow page. We have a link tree. So just I Cut My Way Out podcast, and you can reach us. So
absolutely,
definitely going. And I'm actually looking forward to this, just
right
with me and you, because I think it'll show us range as podcasters that we've been guest driven, and thank you for all the guests, and that definitely will continue. But to just get in and get on and touch on some issues that are near and dear to you and me as well. Kind of just let our personalities and our opinions show in an episode. So what do you want to get into? I mean, okay, now
so you and I talked earlier this week, and it's been an ongoing conversation. It was just interesting because you had put up a post on Facebook and just talked about, even though you and your family have been blessed enough to duck at this point COVID-19, it has been extremely exhausting trying to do so. Right after that, you find some posts and you see opinions. One of our close friends, one of my best friends, that we rock with, he and I have had a conversation about it, and so the whole COVID issue. And so with us having a platform, man, where we discuss barbering, as our lane, but also a lot of these podcasts is just to provide, it come from an educational standpoint, motivational and inspirational standpoint. And so I believe anytime you have a platform that you also have the duty to also give much needed information and topics to your listeners. And so today, we're taking that break from guests, and we're also still tying this in, not only to barbers, because we also have a responsibility to everyone as a whole, but specifically our people as well, because when we talk about the pandemic, it is affecting the African American community at a much greater rate than anybody else, right? And so this is that time and that platform just to discuss it, because I've seen some barbers make comment that, it's a hoax and it's an agenda from the government and so on and so forth. And so I just felt that it was needed to just touch on it, especially, from both sides. One, barber podcast, and this is our lane. I'm a barber, and I feel like one of my biggest responsibilities as a barber is customer service. And, you hear that saying often, you don't discuss politics and you don't discuss religion with people you don't know. And often, our barbershop is our own, our own lane in terms of being, a country club for us men. and anything goes as long as it's in a comfortable setting. But as a professional, I always want to make sure that I'm not saying things openly that's going to draw the attention of my customers in a negative way and drive them away, because this is what feeds my family, and it's allowing me the freedom to do some other things. So I don't take that lightly. So with that being said, just wanted to kind of discuss the pandemic in the state that it is now, and just the popular conversation in terms of the vaccination, right? Everybody has their own thoughts about the vaccination. And so we just wanted to take this time just to kind of touch on.
Yeah, so I'm game for the conversation. Yeah, I put that post up a little over a week ago, and me and my family, I mean, we have a lot of people with underlying conditions. I have a 11-year-old that has had cancer. I mean, I personally have high blood pressure.
Right.
You
have a mother that's getting
right,
up in age.
75, 47. Yeah, 74 will be 74 on St. Patty's Day. Mother that, so when I said it's exhausting, it's like my mom hasn't been to my house in over, approaching a year.
Right.
Now I've been to see her, and, I've done all the precautionary listening to the CDC. Like, I haven't been in my mom's house hanging out without a mask. I haven't,
Right.
Those are things that I'm just going to do. Because
Right.
if something happens to her and I can't go see her or be around her while she might
Right.
be going through some of these things, like
Right.
that could be something I may not ever get over.
Yeah.
And so, just to really put it all in perspective, and I just don't understand why people just people just don't like to be told what to do. That's the first thing, to me, in my
Right.
opinion. So
Right.
because they don't like to be told to do, they'll throw out these analogies and theories of hoax and this
Conspiracies.
Conspiracies is the word.
Right.
Exactly. Right. So so one thing I'll disclose on the show, I did get a first round of a vaccination.
Likewise.
And like I said, I mean, I've taken flu shots, I've taken all types of vaccinations for polio,
Right.
chickenpox, all the,
Right.
so I've been vaccinated.
Right.
So I took a flu shot this year. So when it came out, no, I wasn't racing to the place to get a vaccination. But once it became, once I became eligible, I talked it over and tried to do some research, and I decided that it was time for me to take a vaccination. Now, unlike you, I am an employee of actually a state government institution. So I think it was just a matter of time before I was going to be faced with the decision. So I have not told anyone at my employer that I have taken the vaccination, but I took the vaccination. So I had absolutely no effects besides kind of a sore arm the first round. I've been taking sea moss and turmeric and all that stuff. Been trying to do that probably for like 3 months. So and I will say I'm nervous because I do have the second one coming up, and I have heard that the second one has some effect on people. So I'm nervous about the second one, but I am going to, take it and but I'll throw it back to you. But to me, it's just some things that are going to alter my life forever. Like, I'm not going to an NFL game, a college football game, NBA game, airport. Like, I'm going to have a mask forever. Like, in those, like, you will never catch me in those type of environments without a mask. Like, I
Right.
don't care, like, if they get a cure for COVID. You
Right.
know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Like for me in my space. So let me rewind just to talk about me. So like you, I've had my first round of the vaccination. No side effects outside of sore arm. It was really sore. But I took the vaccination, got back to work cutting that same day. So it was sore for about 3.5 days. The biggest thing for me, when we talk about this platform is everybody has their opinions. There are probably some misconceptions, some theories, some conspiracies. And it often, for me, bothers me because one of the conversations I had with a dear friend, man, don't you get that shot? You don't know what's in it. The government is this. And so my rebuttal is first and foremost, to me, I was a little in my feelings because it's like, you're telling me not to get something, but I went through the process. So for everybody, I had COVID. And for me, it was a rough experience. And it was nothing like the flu. I went quarantine, time for 10 days. By my 9th day, I was at the emergency room. I have a history of asthma, but as you know, and many people know that know me, I was an athlete. I was a hooper. I didn't have, asthma issues during middle school and high school. It was there, but every once in a while, weather changes, things of that nature. But, during my early years, I had it pretty bad, but ended up kind of subsiding and was just kind of here and there, right? So my breathing, I had every absolute symptom with the exception of sore throat. I lost my smell. I lost my taste, which I'm still suffering with those things at this point right now. I had body aches. I had fevers, my breathing. I ended up with pneumonia, everything. And so while we're having this conversation, he's telling me, man, don't you take that? I'm saying, man, that's disrespectful, man. You can't speak on something unless you've had the same experience, right? And so for me, we kind of got into a back and forth. And my thing is, sometimes we're so woke, we're too woke. And so my thing is, it's not my.
Hey, sometimes people that's just go take a nap.
You know what I mean?
Take a nap.
Right. You so woke, you sleepwalk. And so for me, it's like, it's not my responsibility. One, as a public servant, as a barber, right? It's not my responsibility to tell you what's right or what's wrong in that arena because that's not my expertise or my profession. My job is to make sure that my environment is cleanly, that I'm protecting myself. I have my mask, my gloves. I even have clients that say, hey, Ash, while you're here, this is my appointment. I'm uncomfortable with someone coming and sitting and waiting. And I respect that, right? Because it hits everybody differently. And that was my experience. It hit me and it beat me up. It felt like I had my hands up and Mike Tyson was just abusing my body, right? But my wife, on the other hand, she had mild symptoms. She lost her taste and her smell for a period of time. She had slight temperature, but outside of that, that was pretty much it, right? On top of the fact that nobody talks about the quarantining side of it, or I'm not going to say no one talks about it, but it's one of those things where you have people who talk about it, but only those people who truly experience it. When you're quarantining, you start to mentally, man. That's tough, bro.
Yeah, that's like, a lot of people are not with this whole social distancing, with this whole just process of the pandemic. I think a lot of people are downplaying the mental health component of what is taking place, and in a lot of the I don't even want to call them conspiracy theorists, but just anti-maskers, anti-people that are just going to live their life. I can understand why they're saying why they move the way they move, because they're just basically saying, look, I'm not going to get in this sunken place,
right,
over something that has a 99 point whatever 98 recovery rate. That's
Right.
not me. I don't like you said, like I know people that thought they was gonna die. They was
Right.
FaceTiming from the
Right.
hospital,
Right.
basically saying, look,
And that was my thing,
this
man.
might be it.
And it was a couple of one night in particular that we didn't know which direction this thing was going. Like for the first time during the quarantining process, and the great thing is, I didn't want my wife to have it, but she ended up having it, and so we were able to quarantine together. So I think for my sanity and hers, that was helpful that we quarantined as a team, because we were in our room the whole time until I went to the emergency room. She didn't go. We were in the room the entire time. We have, the master bathroom. We have the master bedroom. We have the bathroom within. So we literally didn't leave. And for me, it was that they go into the emergency room. So it does play on your mental health and just the way it made me feel, just from a physical standpoint. And so for somebody to tell me, well, yeah, man, it doesn't exist, it's a hoax, or man, you got over it. So the rebuttal was, man, you came out on the other side. I said, yeah, I came out on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I praise God for that. But at the other on the other end of the spectrum, I said, okay. I said, tell me, what's the percentage? I said, not that statistically, but I said, what's the percentage of people that survive a gunshot wound to the foot? So I'm sure it's pretty high probability that people survive. Mm-hmm. I said, so you want to get shot in the foot? No, I don't want to get shot. I said, so it's the same thing. So you can't tell me that because I came out on the other side, that what I went through had no merit, right? Don't tell me I came out the other side, and the fact that I came out the other side, that it's nothing. We also have some friends that their mother, their mother ended up passing. And I think there were some underlying conditions, but she had been living with those underlying conditions. And then when COVID came to visit, then it went to another level, right? Those same friends who happen to be twins, their son, their son ended up having COVID, not knowing, having trouble breathing, rushing to the ER. Come to find out, they told him, look, if you wouldn't have came tonight, more than likely you wouldn't be here. He's on, once he comes, back around, he's on Facebook with tubes and oxygen and these type of things. I have a grandmother during the same time that, my wife and I had COVID, that's in a nursing home that, contracted COVID. In July, I have a host of family that, were at a gathering together, ended up getting COVID. So for a person to tell me that it's not real, it is disrespectful. If you don't believe in it, that's cool, because it's not my responsibility to tell you whether it's real, whether it's not real. So from my standpoint as a barber, I'm never going to tell anybody, man, you need to go get that shot, or man, you crazy if you go get that shot. That's not up for me to do. Everybody lives their own life, but we have people, when facts and statistics are showing, and granted, media is always on steroids. We know that. But I knew it was real when the week of that March 15th, when the shop closed down, the wife and I were headed to Atlanta. She had surprised me. She had bought tickets one row from the floor, the Atlanta Hawks and Thunder. So now I get a chance to see Trae Young and Chris Paul go at it. So I'm excited, right? Then all of a sudden, they cancel all of the NBA games. Now, when they start messing with billionaires and millionaires' money, I said, okay, this is something different. It's one thing when it's affecting the small fry, but when it starts messing with billionaires' money and it's happening all over the world, there's a problem, in my personal opinion. And I'm not an MD, so I can't tell you. But one thing that, with all this going on, that, is a contradiction, is that people will tell you, what the government is doing. They're trying to take us out. Don't trust the shot. But yet everybody is eating the same food. Like I don't know anybody that owns land to the point where they're sufficient enough to grow all their own food. They have animals, so their meat, if they eat meat, comes from their own backyard, so to say. So everything that we're eating, right, is the same thing. So at the end of the day, when we were growing up, and we're close in age, I remember you could get an apple, you put an apple in the refrigerator, you don't touch that apple for a week and a half, you had to throw the damn thing away because
Right.
it wasn't no good. Now you go get an apple, you get it, it's huge, it's pretty, it's shiny, you put it in there, you don't touch it, you come back and get it a month later, it's still as pretty and shiny as it was from the day you purchased it. That's where the herbicides and pesticides come in. You go and you're seeing one of the local grocery stores here, you can get a jumbo chicken leg. These legs look like Barry Sanders, Herschel Walker, and Bo Jackson leg. That didn't exist when we were coming up. So you're not going to tell me the fear of vaccination is that great, but yet you still will go in a grocery store and you'll eat things that's unknown. But we're at a disadvantage. We don't own things, so we're forced to do that. You go fast food. You hear people, man, I'm a vegan. I don't eat this. But you would drink a fifth and snort coke. Like that don't make no sense to me. So don't sit here and tell me how I should live my life and what I should do. You know what I mean? I respect anybody doing what it is that they should do. Do what you do.
Right.
But to tell me that me going to get a vaccination because I have a family, I have grandkids, we have a new grandchild that was just born, we got another grandchild on the way. If it gives me security, then it is what it is. After
Right.
I went through what I went through with my family, my opinion with it was because I was in the same space everybody else was. My wife was more leaning towards getting, and with her job, they were offering. I'm like, but once I got it, nah, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't want to give it to me, give me the needle and I'll stick myself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. So, you know, all the vaccinations that we've had, you know, in life, going to school, like you talk about the chicken pox, the rubella, the mumps, you know, all these things. We didn't know what was in them. We don't know. Our parents didn't know. And now we have kids that are in school and our kids have received these same vaccinations and we didn't know. Right.
Right.
And so for me, did a little research, the wife and I, and then one of the impactful things that I've seen as well, Tyler Perry had a special on BET. He had two doctors with Emory and Grady out of Atlanta. One was a Black female, the other one was a Hispanic that helped him with his bubble during his taping. And they had 200 episodes of taping and not one case of COVID, right? And so they contacted Tyler Perry, wanted him to get on there and take the test, but he had questions. And so he basically had him to break it down in layman's terms to where not only he could understand it, but there were a lot of questions that, you know, I had, you have, everybody around the world had. And it was a 30, 40-minute episode. And so once they were explaining things, I'm not a doctor, but it started giving me a more of an understanding, right? So at the end of the day, it was my own personal opinion. And also from a work standpoint, as a barber, you can't name many people that are closer physically to an individual than we are. You have your doctors, you know, your nurses, you have your dentists, but we're hovering over people, literally. So for me, not only my health, because I couldn't figure back to where it came from and how I got it in the first place. So all the contact tracing, tried my best. Unfortunately, I ended up having a few clients that had it as well. Don't know if I contracted it from a client, have no idea to this day. And so I'm also, not only do I want to keep my family safe, but I felt that me personally, that it was my responsibility to make sure as well that my clients that I depend on and they depend on me as well, that, you know, I do the same thing. So that was my opinion. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just in, you know, and doing the research myself and just trying to get the knowledge. You know, vaccinations don't I guess protect you from getting it, I guess. It just it just boosts your immune system to be able to,
It raises the probability.
Right. Of being able to fight something off.
Or that it also raises the probability that you that it. So what I'm saying, so the ability to get it, right? It
Right.
raises the probability. It doesn't make it 100% that you won't get it.
Right.
And if you do get it, then it fights off. It boosts your immune system.
Yeah, to fight it off.
But at the same time, it's more probable that you won't get it. It raises the chances high. Not 100% by any means.
Right. Exactly. So when I say I'm masking up at games, if I travel, like forever, like it's no questions asked. If I'm flying somewhere, I will be in a mask. Like, get offended if you want, because and vaccination or not, it's just these things. It's just so many things. Like my son in January, we went to Vegas. In January, my son's 2 weeks, fevers, cold sweats, things like that, where COVID really wasn't like I don't even want to say mainstream, but a lot of the smell, taste, those symptoms weren't even established. But 10 to 14 days. I mean, we were gone for 4 days. He missed the rest of that week of school, was sick. He goes and gets a physical for school. We tell the doctor about it. She was like, she smiled like, yeah, you probably had that.
Right.
So it's just, yeah, I appreciate your vulnerability and your transparency just about your bout with it. I mean, we did have another, brief episode where you were actually going through it.
Right.
And so I think now that you could just be a little bit more candid and have a little bit more knowledge based on your experience and moving forward about getting a vaccination. I think it was good. I hope our listeners can really take your opinion, your experiences, and just be objective, just be open-minded. It may not be for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
for me, for us, not only in the realm of barbering or podcasting or anybody that has a platform, I don't want to push you to it, but I don't want to turn you away from it. You know what I mean? I want, like you said, to be objective and whatever works for you. Like you said, my mother lives out of town. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen my mom. It's been since July. We were supposed to go for Christmas. Had to cancel that because I didn't want the chance of, the possibility of us exposing my mother. She's not getting any younger. My stepdad's not getting any younger, and so you think about these things. And so, it's all fun and games until it knocks on your door and it's serious. And so for me to look somebody in the eye and, someone died, oh, that wasn't COVID. That's not for me to say, right? That's not for me to look you in your face. And if you have a loved one that struggled from it or passed from it, for me to look you in your face and say, that's a hoax. To me, that's disrespectful. And everybody has an opinion, but when the shit shows up on your doorstep and it affects you in a different way, now the narrative is different. Right. So all I'm saying is, let's respect each other. Do your due diligence. I'm out here and I'm guilty as charged. Me and one of our buddies, Lamont, was having a conversation. And so I brought up, and this is before I got the whole Tuskegee experiment. And, you go through things and you've learned things and you lose some thought and backdrop on one of the things. But one of the misconceptions with myself and just people I've spoken to, even after Lamont and I had the conversation, was the Tuskegee experiment. Man, I ain't doing a Tuskegee experiment, And so when you go back and you research with the Tuskegee experiment, no one was shot up with syphilis, right? They didn't inject people with syphilis. What they did is they got people who had syphilis, promised them that they would treat it, lied to them, didn't treat it, made them think they were treating it, and watched the effects of it over a number of years. And so I'm not saying that's any better, right? Because it's still,
It's still
them
manipulation. Yeah.
they're still taking advantage and manipulating, you know what I'm saying, our people, and they have. But with that being said, also, you know, time has moved forward where you go to places, and you go to places like Atlanta and you can find majority Black doctors. And so there are some strides that are being made, you know, with the mRNA, and I'm not going to get into it because, you know, I'm not a doctor, but it was a African American female that was strong behind coming up with that, right? And that's part of dealing with the COVID vaccination. For those, you know, you could look it up, do your research. But to me, it's important, like even having young kids. And Lamont and I had a conversation, and it was funny because he was watching something and he said, you know, I just watched something, you know, you speak of that, because I told him, you know, our topic. And he said, you know, there was something that came on. They talked about how the generation before us, our parents' generation, who went through that civil rights age and dealt with so much more than we have, and our kids' generation, right? How they were open to getting the vaccination, even though all the things that they had went through in life and all the things they seen face to face. And so now you see these youngins and they're not willing to get it, and people our age. And so I have kids, right? Me having kids, and none of my kids, in all honesty, not one of my kids has had the vaccination at this point. And so I ask them, say, okay, you know, you have that right. All of them are young adults. So they have that right. But none of them has done the research. I know my oldest son, you know, TJ, he's talked to his mom about potentially getting it, but the other ones I've spoken with, they haven't done the research. Well, I don't know what's in it. You don't know what's in a lot of shit you put in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
like we
for
gotta
me,
stop that.
you know what I mean? So
that can't be the excuse. You know
that at the end of the day, if you've done your due diligence and your research and you're just not comfortable with it, cool. You know, and the way they build us up, we're so immune to going to restaurants and, again, grocery stores, or the liquor, whatever, putting things in our body, having no idea, you know what I'm saying, how it affects us short term, long term, or in between. And we'll put that in our body and we're not nervous, but the vaccine comes out and we're nervous because we don't know how it plays out. You could go to Arby's, eat a meal, and in a half hour have food poisoning and be sick.
And then
You
you
see what I'm
back
saying?
once they put that joker back on special and
you know,
coupons.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the same thing with the vaccination, saying, okay, you know, that second round, people, you know, say, you know, they haven't felt well, and some things, you know, could be right. I know a couple people had the second round and had no, absolutely no symptoms. So it depends on the person at the end of the day, and that's the difference. So what you eat may do one thing to you and do another to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm lactose intolerant. Hell, I drank milk and ate cheese all my life, and then one night, me and the wife chilling and go to custard cup, and it all goes to hell from that point on. I can't eat pizza, macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Everybody else in the crib do though, right?
Damn.
So you know, I don't know if you remember the situation when years ago when Ash was 2 years old. I get sick, stomach was a little funny, called off from work. I eat a banana and a ginger ale pop, stuff I'd had all my life. I eat it and have a severe allergic reaction and have to be rushed to the hospital, to the point where they told me if I didn't make it 10 minutes, if I'd have been 10 minutes later, I possibly wouldn't have survived.
Damn. I think I do remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Never had a banana or ginger ale since. That was over 20 years ago. I grew up in the house with my mom, Frosted Flakes. She cut up the bananas, put them in the Frosted Flakes. So I'm just saying, we don't know how things affect our body.
Right.
So the thought that, you know, man, the government trying to kill us, hell, they got us. We at each other's neck. We killing each other every day.
Oh, shoot.
They done already done the work. I call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And I love my people, but we got to do better. I call a spade a spade. Yeah. They done done the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From slavery to now, they done the work.
Yeah.
We at each other's throat. The work has been done. So for them to take us out, you know what I'm saying? When I went to get my shot, hell, it wasn't nothing but white people in it.
Yeah, when I went, it wasn't number white people in there too. I think it was like me and 2 other black people.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was me. It was 2 other. It was an older black woman, younger black woman, and 3 Asians. Outside of that, and it was well over 100 people in the place.
Oh yeah, because when you sit down and wait the 15 minutes, I just scanned the place that I went to, and I was just like, well, ain't nobody in here too much to look like me. So if it's meant to kill me off, it's meant to kill. It's a lot of people that's gonna get killed off that don't look like me.
Right. And at the end of the day, they have us so scared of things, and I understand, because I mean, historically, I totally understand. We've been trampled, walked upon, we've been done wrong, no doubt. And I'm never going to back away from that. But at the point, I feel like they got us at a point we're so reluctant. You know what I'm saying? You could show up to get the shot and get $1 million, and we still be broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we're gonna go to the Gucci store.
Because we're reluctant, right? And I'm not saying don't
they
be
getting that
reluctant.
$1 million. We just gonna give it back. I mean, so
Right.
that's two scenarios.
Right. And I'm not saying, don't be reluctant. You want to be reluctant. You always want to do your due diligence as best as you can, right? So I'm not saying just go and don't fret it at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying do your due diligence and don't try to convince me. I don't try to convince you. Respect each other's space and whatever they're doing. You ain't sold out, or you dumb, or you ignorant because you get the shot. And if that person doesn't get the shot, he or she is not either.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think these are the kind of things that show us where our unity lacks.
Yeah.
Just the smallest shit, bro. If you don't get it, and I get it, it don't make you wrong. It don't make me wrong either. That shouldn't bust up our friendship. We shouldn't be arguing. Man, you better not get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, do your due diligence. That's life in and of itself. And the fact of the matter is, everybody running around, and man, we all gotta go to the upper room at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
Ain't no getting around.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way of getting around. You drive down the street, you take a left, I take the right. Hell, ain't no getting around. Everybody's gonna end up there. So for me and my family and what they mean to me and my experience of it, man, it was a no-brainer.
Right.
And I'm not gonna tell you that I wasn't nervous. Hell yeah, I was nervous. But like I said earlier, they put us in a position where we'll get nervous over things like this, but they make us think the stuff that we put in our body is okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They and so if you want to say they got us, those are the areas that they've manipulated us the most in, because they haven't earned our trust, and I understand it. But I don't know, in all honesty, any black farmers, bro. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I seen
in this area.
Few and
I
far
don't.
between. Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not saying there's
area,
none out there.
Yeah.
But now we're at a space. If you see a young African American kid or black kid, right? You see him and you ask him, he getting ready to graduate. You say, man, I'm getting ready. I'm going to college. What you major in? You say agriculture. You're gonna look at him like, We were the ones farming. We taught them how to farm. You feel me? Right. But now it's been spent and dropped on the head like, that ain't what we do.
Right.
So now it's not cool. So like I said, all that time of slavery on through Jim Crow and civil rights law, they got us where they want. They don't need no shot to do no more damage.
They really don't.
They done the damage. Now we have to figure out how to get up out of this shit. And instead of beating each other down, talking about conspiracies and what is and what ain't, let's talk about how to come together and find some solutions, you know what I'm saying, so we can come up out this shit. If not in our time, in our grandkids' kids' time.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. Set that foundation.
You know? And then, you know, it's so funny because then some of the people that are so woke live their lives in a total contradiction.
We ain't got enough time to get into that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes
so
you
it's
just
interesting.
Yeah, they just need to take a nap, man. That's all. Take
a
nap, you know what I'm saying? And you know.
And don't come at me unless you got some factual information. I don't even want to have a conversation. Right. I'm not talking to you about anything that I don't have an expertise in. And when I argue in those areas, I will argue you to the end because those are the areas that I know something about. I can't argue with you about, you know, at this point, stocks and bonds. And, you know, I'm still learning. I can't argue, you know what I'm saying? I argue about what I know. I ain't got no homeboys that are medical doctors. Not a one.
Right. Because it's too much school and they just trying to get to the league, you know what I'm saying?
You know?
But hit that SoundCloud and drop their single or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I didn't say it, you did. Right?
Hey,
but you know, I mean.
Hey, man, all our programs, and that's why I wanted the young brother Quantrell on the show, and not only because he had some substance, but because we don't celebrate brothers like that.
Absolutely.
We celebrate the you know, you could be playing for a school that ain't gonna be shit. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? But we gonna celebrate you like you D1, but yeah, you can't win your high school team some games. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But and that's right.
But then we got a brother that, like you said, got it out the mud. Y'all go listen to his episode. He got it out the mud. You was with you was a part of that journey in school with him. You know, the interned on Capitol Hill and, you know, and doing his thing, you know, but come to town and in and out, just nobody knows, nobody cared just because he ain't flaunting on social media. But the whole thing is, nah, ain't nobody going to doing all that goddamn medical school or that law school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We'll celebrate the motherfucker come home from jail before we celebrate the person going to law school. That's just what we do.
Right.
Me included. You know what I'm saying? I came on the show today happy because my boys won a game. It's just a game, but you know what I'm saying? We all guilty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all some way, somehow implicit. You know what I mean? And so at this point, let's start talking about solutions, not beating everybody over the head and calling people dumb if you ain't woke to the agenda and so on and so forth, because, you know, everybody has flaws in one area. You know, you could be woke, but I guarantee you sleep somewhere in some aspect. And so that's what we need. We need each one teach one in areas that we know. If you ain't no medical doctor, don't talk to me about no medicine. You know what I mean? Because everybody I know, they talk good, but let your loved one, you know what I'm saying, need some medical attention outside of you being able to provide chest compression. Who you gonna call?
Yeah, you're going to the doctor, you're going to the
The
emergency
same way we talk about the police, and there's some issues, right? But if somebody break in your house, 9 times out of 10, the average person gonna do what?
Call the law.
You know what I mean?
Call the law.
So at the end of the day, you know, I just felt the need, you know, as a professional barber and just as a Black man to talk about it on the platform. Me, that's one thing nobody will ever be able to say. I'm professional. I respect people. I respect people's opinion. And it's not always been that way, right? I'm growing as a person. I'm very opinionated, but I'm becoming more open-minded. And experiences like this whole COVID-19 thing, in my experience, made me see through in a matter of months through a whole different lens, where I was really reluctant to take a shot for the same reasons that everybody else talk about, and not really doing my due diligence to understand it. Like, dude, man, it could have went anyway. Anytime you're
Right.
dealing with your breathing and so on. Man, I had an asthma inhaler that I hadn't opened out the package in months. I had a new one. I hadn't had no need to use it. I just always keep it on standby. Hell, I needed it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then after, I'm trying to get my breath. You had those days when we used to hoop, you play for a school and you get sick and you're out, 2 or 3 days, and then you come back and you run your suicides and your wind sprint. You can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I done put all this work in, and now 3 days later, this is how I feel. Like I ain't done no run. Man, I done that the podcast we jumped on, man. I moved a chair across the room, came back and sat down, and I was out of breath, bro. I done had the flu on several occasions. And I'm not a sickly person, but I've had the flu more than once. Man, I'm telling you, when it was time to deep clean the shop, I had to do that little by little, man. I was winded to the point where I finished doing that. I'm wiping stuff off, sanitizing, come jump in the shower. By 8:30, I'm asleep. Like I done hoop for 2 days. Like that, ain't nobody gonna tell me. That's not normal, bro.
Right. Nah.
That's not normal.
And that's on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
You feel me? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then, that's the thing. Like I be reffing.
Mhm.
And once in Illinois, I think we were one of the last states to really start to play. And all the calls, all the emails, and it's just like, nah, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting ready to, go ref and I'm looking at these stream games and kids' mask is on their chin,
Right.
and coaches taking their mask off to yell, and it's just like, nah, man, I'm out. That little bullshit money that y'all giving, and then I see the usual no disrespect to the usual suspects, they my peoples, but it's just like, man, that ain't even no real money, man. That's
And we ain't getting no kids to it ain't like it's pushing the kids to the league or any of that. And even if it was, it's not worth it. For
right.
me, two of the last things that really, really put it all in perspective, bro, or probably the biggest one that put it in perspective, is when everything went through. I ended up, me and my wife, coming from me, I got a 2-month-old grandchild who's a month at the time, ended up getting COVID because of me. You see what I'm saying? And so now I got to look my son and his girlfriend in the face and apologize. And they were cool. But at the end of the day, you feel like shit when you start, when you don't know. Like, these are people I love. So when my wife said, hey, she was going to get it, the way I feel about my wife, if she walked through a Lion's Den with pork chop drawers on, I'm riding with her.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, once she decided it's what she wanted, and then we went through the situation, it was a no-brainer. Let's ride. And if we come out on the other side, then we'll talk about it. If not, be what it is. Make sure our affairs are in order. We have our life insurance, all the things that we need. If we leave here, ain't nobody putting up no GoFundMe unless they being greedy.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the importance of it all. I told my mans when we were debating, like, man, you could walk out the door and not make it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we're not promised anything, and nobody tells us how we're leaving here. So for you to tell me, man, you Hank Aaron was 86 years old. In the most unfortunate of circumstances, if he lived another 14 years, he would have been 100 years old. And I say the most unfortunate of circumstances because you probably can't find too many people once they hit that 80, 85 year mark who say, man, I hope I make it to 100. By that time, you done went in reverse. You start having all these medical ailments. By that time, people are getting tired. Yeah. Body's not working. There's very few people who 85, 90 and functioning at a high rate, whether it's the body or the mind, or both. So even if he would have lived 14 more years in the most unfortunate of circumstances, he'd have been 100. He was riding out anyway. So now you're gonna blame it on COVID. I'm like, come on, man. We just reach.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get it, don't get it.
Don't get it. Because there's a lot
But
of people
don't blast me.
Right. For sure.
Don't blast me. Don't blast you. Can't nobody tell you if they ain't walked in you and your wife's shoes what it feel like to have a son with cancer. Don't sit here and blast me. If you can't tell me how that shit feel, jumping back on and going back and forth on the highway, going in and hoping God take care of the situation, because that's all I got to rely on at this point in time. Don't tell me what I should and should not do if you wasn't there for the ride.
All right.
Shut the hell up and play your position. And that's for whoever.
Yep. And most time the position is coming off the bench.
You know what I'm saying? I got another homeboy. His wife dealt with cancer. So, I joke all the time with him, but he's serious about it.
Yeah.
But I ain't been on that side, so I can't knock him. Because I don't know what it would feel like if I thought, for 1 second my wife wouldn't be with me. And we went through some surgeries where it put things on edge, but that thought. So don't come telling my man how he should or should not feel. Respect him.
Right.
And just agree to disagree. You live your life different. You see it through different eyes. That don't mean that I got to live in a hoax so they got me. And come on, man. They got us all, if you want to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got us all, if you want to be honest.
Yeah.
That's why, for me, when I talk about barbering, it's one of the things I always ask. If you've ever noticed, I ask a lot of barbers, what does barbering mean to you? And everybody's answer is different. But for me, you know what it means?
What?
It means freedom.
Freedom.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put this on here. We could talk about this all day. As you can see, I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you earlier. If you're triggered, let's calm it down. But you know what I'm saying? You did good, and as always, carried the show.
You're a fool. And and I love my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have to understand that if we don't agree about something, I ain't got to knock you down and you knock me down.
For sure.
We all gonna get to the finish line. We all gonna leave here some way, somehow. Sooner or later, we all got to get there.
Right. Yep. No, for real, need to be had, and the title of the show is gonna be very direct. So we getting the shot. How about you? How about that as a title episode name? We got the or something, yeah. But so just a few things, few items that I'd like to touch on before we get up out of here. Again, it's the I Cut My Way Out podcast. Just me and the fam today, no guests, but that'll we'll get back to it. Very, very great conversation about COVID and the vaccine.
Absolutely.
But just a few items before we get up out of here. Judas and the Black Messiah. First things first. Did you listen to the soundtrack?
I haven't listened to the soundtrack yet. It's interesting because as we were sitting here, my wife just sent me a Jay and Nip song.
Right, because that's why I asked, did you listen to it?
Okay. So I haven't yet, but I'm going to check it out.
Okay, did you watch the documentary? Or the movie? It wasn't
the movie. So I watched most of the movie, didn't finish it. Wi-Fi went out, internet connection went out, so we're gonna finish it. Yeah.
Okay.
So far, I enjoyed the movie. All too often, we tell our stories and it's sad, because like I said, they got us.
Yeah.
I never knew in following, some of Fred Hampton stuff. I remember a documentary, but I don't remember vividly, basically it being a rat who sold him out.
Right. Yeah.
You know, on something as simple as going to jail, impersonating an FBI agent and stealing cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and it was really told from it was really told from his perspective. So that was kind of interesting, which you know, I hope it does well, even though we're in these times and you know, a lot of people aren't getting out to the movies. So
I think actually that'll probably end up resulting to more people watching it because the cost.
Right. So
yeah.
But and just one more thing, just how's the week been, you know, in the profession? Just, you know, back at it.
It's been cool, man. To be honest, man, you have a few people that's been a little reluctant because I had COVID. You also had a few people that were reluctant and came around and hit me back like, you know what, your integrity, you know, because once I found out, I hit everybody, bro. Yeah. Like this is bigger than money because I can't look at it as if it's a conspiracy. What if somebody, I got older clients, I got children, got middle-aged clients, teenage. What if somebody happens to pass and somebody say they got COVID and I'm sitting here knowing damn well that I got COVID and I ain't told nobody. Right. Money don't mean that much to me, man. You know what I mean? And most of my clients have bounced back. It's a couple that's still taking a hiatus and, you know, they want to wait until they get their last shot. But I also shared with them if it made them feel any better that got my first dose and man, I'm doing, you know, what I can for my people, my family and the people, you know, that depend on me as well. So, you know, and I depend on, you know, I can't take care of my family and do the things that I do without my clients. So for me to look a client in the eye and them tell me, you know, COVID exists and I tell them they're a lie, I don't have no right to do that. Yeah. They got their opinion, I have mine. You know what I mean? So it's bounced back it's bounced back pretty good, man. It's bounced back, like I said, still some reluctant people, but I totally understand. And you're right, this shit has been exhausting, man, extremely exhausting.
Yeah.
You know?
And the last thing before we get out of here, one of our previous guests is fucking going crazy, man.
Smash.
My goodness, man. If that ain't some motivation.
Man, dude put a battery in my back. And like from me reaching out to him from the gate, being older, and you know, it wasn't nothing about, man, trying to get a big hitter. Everybody that we interview, that I followed, that I've contacted, provides inspiration, whether they're on the come up, whether they're doing it and they came up. And for me, I watch stories, you know, I build off of inspiration. I build off of other stories because then I realize I can do it. Man, he's, I mean, from the shop to putting wifey in the 2021 Range Rover. You know what I mean? Like, dude is on the grind and it's letting us know, man, if we put, you know what I'm saying, our mind to it and we go hard and don't get it twisted because he has a God-given talent that everybody doesn't have, but he knows what his talent is and God has made way for other things to open up for him. And that's one thing. Shout out to Los the barber. He used to always tell me, man, you know, even before I made that jump, like, dude, you use your gifts and God to make a way. And man, I'm watching Smash and he going absolutely bananas in a pandemic, bro.
Yeah. So what So what I wanted you to touch on, just with him opening the shop and just, you know, giving the internet and social media a view of his shop, what are some of the things about the shop that you think that just are special and just, you know, by looking at it optically, you know, just
everything, first of all.
Points out. What sticks out to you?
Everything is, first of all, and if our listeners don't know, go to at Smash the Legend on Instagram. The thing, it all is dope to me. Even how he has his stations, and I don't know if you've seen the plexiglass.
I saw that
each
yesterday.
station.
Yeah.
But really, what hit me, because it's an idea that I've had, but he took his own section. Like, man, I've worked to build this, and I've worked, and I have the type of clientele that I need to be able to separate myself at times. He has a large client base. He has celebrity clients that want their privacy. You don't want people coming in, taking pictures, approaching them, but even from the cart where, he could service beverages. Like, dude, man, coming into the summer, and I don't know if you down, but I'm copping a ticket and I'm going out there and I'm sitting in the chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am inspired by what these cats are doing, man. And we reach out to some and some don't respond. Sometimes people think you have hidden agendas, whether this blows up or whether it doesn't, we're doing what we love. And I love watching our brothers win, our sisters win, and they winning. Like I said, when we was with Suge the Barber, like, we used to play the back road. Barbers used to play the back road. It was like DJs and producers. Now we out here stunting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's stunting hard, and it shows. I got a little cousin, man. I cut him up today, and he's been back and forth to the penitentiary, and possibly headed that way again. And he's an artist, and he told me for the first time, man, I want to go to barber school and get my license. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know the possibilities. I said, man, I follow a dude, man, that charges basic cuts 100, 200 for new clients, bro. He said, man, that's more money than cats getting out here for moving work. I said, absolutely. I said, so much money out here now, we ain't got no reason. We ain't got no reason to do nothing illegal, bro. It's ways to get to the money, man. We just got to come together and get to it, man. I was watching, and I know we're on record, and we'll have this conversation on, but I just got to give shout out to Earn Your Leisure too, man, because they really been keeping my attention. And they had a brother by the name of Derek Grace, and he's at Derek Grace 2, the number 2. And you see this cat dreads, tattoos on his face, and you hear his story, man, and just listen to his strategies and ideologies. And this dude 30 years old, bro, and getting mailbox money. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, these guys out here, man, it's barbers, entrepreneurs, man. This just happens to be the lane we're closest to, me being a barber, but being able to turn it, and with the beard culture, and hopefully there's some things that we can continue to turn it to, man, and put our hands in outside of a podcast, because, my thought is, I'm trying to eat on my own terms. And on one of the Earn Your Leisure pieces, man, it was they were talking, and the dude, it might have been Carlos Miller from Wild 'N Out.
South.
Yeah, Wild 'N Out, 85 South. Shout out. Man, dude said, look, I figured it out a long time ago. It was him and Chico Bean. He said, man, look, you go to a job, you go to an entry-level job, you start off, you struggling, right?
Right.
You making meager wages. Like, why would I go struggle for somebody else when I can struggle on my own?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, man, we got to appreciate each other, put all the differences to the side, man, and as they say, get to the bag together, man. Let's grow together and quit smashing and bashing. And if what I don't believe in, you believe in, and we can't bubble, man. It's time out for them, man. We running the race that we ain't winning.
One last thing before we get out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
And I'd love to just, candidly laugh and joke with Suge the Barber, also known as I Create Confidence.
Yes, sir.
Just to make sure he ain't spraying Gorilla Glue in his man weed.
Make it last a couple more weeks, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm a
Yeah.
tag him in this little piece, man. What did you think about that, man?
You know, if it was a real situation, the young lady didn't know. God bless her. But reading is fundamental. You know, if and on that, just to divert on that, man, our guy Jay Dillard, man, came out with his book. I'm gonna get online and order it tonight.
Okay.
So that's big for everybody that follows at Barbers Inc. TV. He released his first book, his children's book. So when we talk about reading, that's big. But you know, support. But back to her, reading is fundamental. She didn't read, couldn't read, God bless. But with that, you see how she done came up.
Right. Yeah.
It's so much money in every avenue out here. And then the people who are really, our next, one of our guests, you know, coming up, put something on. He was like, man, you know, somebody puts Gorilla Glue in their hair and they get the verified check and becomes famous overnight. But you got real people out here putting in real work who we don't shine that same spotlight on.
Yeah.
We just got to do better at supporting each other, man.
Yeah, facts. That's got
to do better at supporting each other. For real. She's selling merch, everything. Yeah. But you know, I mean, she ain't killing nobody.
No.
It was her hair, it wasn't her daughter's hair, it wasn't her clients that she put Gorilla Glue in. Man. She put it in her own hair. So I mean, whatever works for her. And if she feeds her family, she's selling merch and people copping the merch. I mean, it is what it is, man.
I mean, my thing is, man, like I use it on things. It's just like, man, if it get on your hands, it's true. It's a pain. So, man.
Man, yeah. the gorilla tape is a monster.
Man.
So I you know, I don't know, but man, more peace and blessings to the sister. Hopefully she learned a lesson, you know. But if this puts her in another salary level, income group, you know, just hopefully she does the right thing, man, and
right
builds off of whatever she's been able to accomplish and however she accomplished it. Because one thing I could say, she could be getting money in worse ways.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Well, fam, I think it went longer than we expected it, but
yes, sir.
Having fun. I mean, I wasn't even looking at the time, but
absolutely.
Anything else? I think
no, man. So, you know, we had a good time, like you said. Sometimes, you know, we had an interview set up, but you know, we needed to reschedule it. So at this point, you know, it's good to be able to dialogue, talk about some current events, how it relates to what it is that we do, our lane. And I just think it's great having this platform and enjoying it.
And just yeah. So a lot of times when we, you know, talk to people, we want to make it about them when they come on our show.
Right.
But today we're able to, you know, kind of be current, kind of touch on some things. So it's equally important just for me and you to rock out and, you know, just give them a little bit more of us.
And I guess I can say one more thing, just to piggyback off of last week's episode with Joe Stovall, State Farm agent. For all those, you know, whether you think it's a conspiracy, whether you believe in COVID, we're living in some serious times. So I just say, no matter what you believe in, make sure you get your affairs in order.
Yeah, get your affairs. I'm a drop. I put a video up on Facebook. Didn't really put it on YouTube. It slipped my mind. So I'm gonna drop that video probably tonight or tomorrow. Just a snippet, about 13 minutes. Him explaining the term whole life and then the modified whole life, which I thought was a gem. The modified whole life, especially for younger barbers. So shout out to Joe. That was a great episode. they all been great. And
man, superb.
Yeah. So,
superb.
Just being able to listen. I'm still kind of wordy and choppy, but I appreciate y'all bearing with me. The subscription numbers is going up, and I'm working on it, y'all. One dude flamed the comments on Stacy's episode, so I'm conscious of it,
right.
So, but yeah,
keep moving and keep growing, man.
Yeah,
just enjoying it, providing the platform.
Yep. So, all right, my brother. I know you got some things going. I got some things going. You know what I do on Sunday. So
absolutely. And just as we sign out, man. And again, we just want to say thank you to all the Clipper companies, Andes, Bablis, Wall, Caliber, Oyster. Everybody that allows us to do what we do as barbers, and the reason that this platform, I Cut My Way Out podcast, is even possible.
I cut my way out. Yes, sir.
Peace, and we appreciate you.
Yep. Until next time, peace.
Put some respect on my name.
Big and one day endorse where I live. Hard times, my mom had to do it all. Working 2 jobs to provide while I pursue the ball. Hoop dreams, no problem doing my own thing. Stepped in the world to get a win for the home team. Lace the sneakers for the crowd in the bleachers. This might get away from the lesson life teaches, but 5'9" don't follow the league guideline. Heart of a champ, but I gotta tuck my pride now. Off to college for the knowledge, try my hand in math. But one call from back home really changed my path. My firstborn, now I got a mouth to feed. Told the Southeast I got a whole new route to lead. Young father, odd jobs, every day is real. Turn to the streets to try to eat or maybe pay a bill. Not proud of it, but I got it cooking good. But prison time on the mind wasn't looking good. I can't afford the price, so I tried the corporate life. Something wasn't sitting right, every night I'm tossing light. They don't appreciate all my hard work, so I went ahead and jumped, let the Lord work. Beer culture 2020, yeah, we taking over. From the Clippers to the hoodies that be draping over. I put the Clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the Clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Cut my way out. Tryna cut my way out.